Hello, dear viewer. We are on the Sports1 today. I'm Mehdi, and we are going to talk about the World Cup, the previous matches, very interesting, as well as what's coming next Sunday, the World Cup final with France. That's why I'm here. I'm a French citizen, also a French supporter, soon to be French champion.
Maybe.
And I'm here with my host, Hassanet, if you want to...
Mehdi, thanks for you and Sports1 for having me again. It's great to be back.
No worries. So today we are firstly going to talk about the semi-finals. Obviously, England has been kicked out of the championship, as well as the third position. They didn't win today against Belgium. So we are going to have a bit of a review on that, talk about what went wrong, you know, how that developed. So what do you think in terms of the semi-finals?
The semi-finals, I mean, it's interesting. If I mean, I have to start with the England one, and it's very hard for me to sort of talk about it because, as you know, us English fans, we were really egging, we really believed, and you heard.
Home, right?
I mean,
we've heard it a lot.
When the song was released in 1996, I was a 14, 15-year-old enjoying my football, enjoying my teenage football. So that song was a big thing for us. So this year, that belief was re-embedded into the English. And we really believed it was going to happen. And you know what? That was great. And that's what I loved about the England team, because there was optimism. You know, considering when you look at the other nations, which we'll talk about later on, the nations that went out, like the Germans, where it was like expectation, and you know, an expectation sometimes comes with an element of pessimism. So it was interesting because us English fans really believed, and I'm sure the likes of yourself and your fellow French nationals that are living here in the UK, you must have felt the aura that us English were emanating across the whole country. We really believed we could do it, and you know, to be honest, it was one game away from the final. And then we look at the result, because I mean, it was a great game against Croatia, but I mean, at full time we went in at 1-1. And then after extra time, we lost 2-1 and we went out. So we were one goal away from the final.
Yeah, but let's talk about this game more specifically. So, you know, you got a first goal on a free kick, right? Wonderful goal on England. But it seemed to be like the strategy was maybe to try to keep this goal and win that way. I didn't see England attacking that much after this goal. What do you think about it?
I'm trying not to be actually critical of England, because if I just take a few steps back, at the start of the World Cup, when England came into it, the expectation was, if England gets out of the first round of the group stage games, it's a success. So, you know, it was counted that, because the last World Cup, England went crashing out the early stages. Okay, they played a very good Italian team and a Uruguayan team back in 2014 in Brazil World Cup. But this year, okay, it was an easy group, but it is still the World Cup. It's the best remaining 32 teams of the world. So for England to get through, it was great. So on that front, then to get to the semi-final, and then there was that belief that, wow, we've got this far, we can do it. You know, of course, that kept us through, but then we had to look at, and you're right, we had to look at the actual game and the assessment of the game. Yes, we did go in 1-0, and it was actually a phenomenal goal from Trippier. Do you know what? Unexpected. I mean, you French have got used to Zinedine Zidane doing these sort of things, and what I saw from Trippier was blinding. We had opportunities. We did have opportunities to put the game away. I think a lot of people are talking about that one opportunity where Harry Kane should have squared it to Sterling, and we could have wrapped the game up. And you're right. What sort of psychological effect would it have had on the Croatian if we went in 2-0 at half time? You're right. We could have closed shop and gone on to win.
I mean, with Croatia, to be fair, what they've shown is that you never really close the shop. You know, they've been coming back on 2 games. But so what about the actual team in itself? Do you think if the manager would have selected maybe possibly other people on the attack, would have been more successful in terms of goals?
It's true, because some people, I heard some comment, and I mean, on another show, I heard that people commented that why did Gareth Southgate bring on Marcus Rashford, who's a young Up and coming players, a teenager as well, 19-year-old, similar to your Kylian Mbappe. Why did he bring Rashford on when he could have brought on Jamie Vardy? Jamie Vardy is, in his 30s now. He's coming on. This is probably going to be his last World Cup. But he has experience, and a lot of people say with the age comes the intelligence, and we'll talk about some of the French players on that, because you can see generally, and even in French players, the younger ones didn't have that intelligence. So people suggested that, but I know Gareth Southgate threw Rashford on because Vardy was nursing a bit of an injury. And so he wasn't sure, was it a gamble to put on Vardy? I mean, eventually he did put on Vardy, but it was too little too late. But it's interesting because, I'm trying to look at the positive. And, England at the end, they went in 1-1. After 90 minutes, England had lost the game. It was 1-1. So fair enough, we went in 1-0, and it was an extra time that we lost. But then at the post-match interview that you saw with Luka Modric, now, we all know how much of a superstar Luka Modric. The post-match interview, Luka Modric had actually been very critical of us English. And he said, you guys believed in yourself so much that you dismissed what we are as an opposition. And he goes, you completely dismissed what we are. I'm saying what Luka Modric said, long-winded, but in essence, this was what Luka Modric was saying, that we didn't actually respect the Croatian team. We believed it was a given we're going to the final, and Luka Modric had to bring us back down to earth and remind us that we're playing against Croatia and they are a team.
Final, right?
And absolutely. And
would you put this on one player in specific? For example, this is usually the role of the captain to kind of remind the team that the game is not won until it's the end. Would you say Harry Kane didn't have enough of an influence on the game?
It's interesting you saying that to me, because obviously it's easy for you French to say it, because you had Didier Deschamps, and who's now the manager. And when Didier Deschamps was a player, he was that hard fought sort of nasty. But you ain't won the game, you'll keep going. Didier Deschamps literally dragged the French team to the World Cup last time they won it in 1998. So do we lack that sort of play? Yes, we do, because the last time we had someone that did that for us was the golden generation in England, when we had Beckham, when we had Steven Gerrard, when we had Frank Lampard, when we had John Terry, when we had Rio Ferdinand. That was the last time we had that sort of play. So yes, I reluctantly agree with what you're saying. That captain that we needed just to drag the players and tell them it's not over, we probably didn't have that. But what I would say is this World Cup has done wonders in creating that, because now we've now created Harry Kane. If all goes well, he will win the Golden Boot tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't see I can't see Kylian Mbappe getting the 3 goals needed to take that off Harry Kane. So it's very likely that Harry Kane will win the Golden Boot, and that's going to be a booster for him, and he's going to realise, I'm actually the captain, I'm the team leader. And then in that, we also have the rest of the squad where the players are coming. John Stones came through. John Stones had a very difficult, as our defender, as an English defender, he had a very difficult season with Manchester City. And it was on and off. The manager had lost faith and regained faith, and Pep Guardiola is a no-nonsense manager. So John Stones, he's also gained an element of leadership in him for England. So there's a lot of promise. I want to finish up on England by saying that there is a lot of promise. I'm very pleased with my, being an Englishman, born and bred Englishman, through Asian parents, but I'm loving the fact that I'm an Englishman born and bred, and I followed my team to the end, and I'm looking forward to the next tournament.
And just in terms of, you say there is a lot of promises in this team. I think that was the general conclusion that been reached. Would you say there was a strategy here where the team was very young, and England made it to the semi-final? Do you think the manager knew that you still need a bit of time for this team and get to have more leaders, but it's better to actually grow this team rather than import the leadership we were talking about?
Maybe. I'll tell you why. Gareth Southgate as a manager hasn't been like previous English managers. He's been quite difficult to read, and a lot of people haven't been able to read him. So they're trying to figure what's his intentions, what's his game plan, and really truly the only experience, we know he's got experience in managing Premiership teams, but the only experience English-wise was the youth English team. So is there a tendency for him to lean at the youth and then develop the youth? Maybe. So maybe his ultimate game plan in winning
maybe long term.
He's got the team set up there, and he's got more players that will come through.
All
He
right,
certainly
cool.
will. I mean, if I, on the other hand, I've got to give the credit where it's due. The Croatian football team, they did deserve to go through.
Yeah, I think they did.
I mean, in the end, statistics say it all. No matter what we can say about the English team being unfortunate, statistics have it. They had twice as many shots towards goal, 22 shots on goal. We only had 11. Okay. Then when we look at goals on target, they had 9 shots on target, I believe. We only had the 1, which was the goal. Or sorry, it's 2 if we include the extra time attempts. So because even Harry Kane, when we came really close, he actually hit the post, so it doesn't count.
Yeah.
So actually, looking at it statistically, they were way better. And then the dynamics of it. A lot of people forgot, and this is where Luka Modric criticised us English, and we've got to face it and think, well, actually, he's got a point. He said that we underestimated, and look at it. You had Modric and Rakitic in the middle. That is Barcelona and Real Madrid. Who was he up against? Well, he was up against Henderson and Dele Alli, which is Liverpool and Tottenham. Now, Liverpool and Tottenham versus Barcelona and Real Madrid. I mean, that tells you, just to judge it by that, it tells you a lot about what you're up against. And then let's not forget, the Croatian team deserve praises all across the pitch because they had a great set of players. Their winger, Perisic, was phenomenal. Kovacic on the other side was equally as good.
Yeah. So if you had to pick one player for, the player of the World Cup for England, would you say it's the goalkeeper, Pickford?
It's a very good point. A lot of people are picking Jordan Pickford. A lot of people are picking him. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to go away from the ordinary because for those people that know that I play football, I've always been a defensive footballer. I still play in defence today. Even in the over 35s, I play in defence. If I don't play in goal, which is purely down to fitness, but I like my defenders and I like the way my defenders sort of progress and develop. So if there was someone I needed to choose, I would choose Harry Maguire.
All right.
So he's my player of the tournament.
Cool.
That's the England-Croatia semi-final. I know we've spoken a lot about it, and I'm disheartened, but yes, it's a good reality check.
I think we can come back to it maybe later for the actual third game.